All right, limited today were Corey Ballantyne, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt. Did not participate were Jair, Josh Jacobs, Elton Jenkins, Jordan Love, Josh Myers, Rasheed Walker, and Evan Williams.
What's the plan for Jordan for the week?
Just take it one day at a time and see where he's at by the end of the week.
How much more comfortable do you feel with Malik than you did last time he took all the ones reps in practice in week 2?
A lot more. I mean, he's got a good understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished, of the techniques and fundamentals. So I would say much more confident. And I think that kind of showed in the game, too. It's not like in the game we weren't going to run anything everything was live that we had installed. So he's done a really nice job.
What is the challenge if you don't know who your quarterback is or a cornerback, where, I mean, though you got those are two obviously super important players, and you go into a week of prepping and game planning and you don't know exactly where those guys are at?
It is what it is. No different than what happened the other day. When you have installed a game plan, you got to be ready to adjust. And bottom line is you got to put in whatever plays or schemes or whatever it is you're trying to go attack somebody with, whether it's on offense or defense, that give you the best chance to win. And, you know, you got to use your best judgment in terms of the execution and how you're going to go about that and have successful plays.
Man, what happened to Josh late in the game, Jacobs?
Just his ankle.
Is it likely you'll get or test Jordan in some physical fashion to, whether you play him or not, but at least test him, get him out on the field and let him throw some, or is it possible you won't?
If he's playing?
Either way.
I think he's moving around better. We'll see. Again, we'll take it one day at a time, and certainly, we'll push the envelope with that. And I know he wants to play, and but we'll see where he's at by the end of the week.
Do you think he can get out there tomorrow and be limited?
I don't know.
Could he play if he doesn't practice all week, but he's cleared Saturday? He could still start even without practicing all week.
Potentially.
Where do you think you are in your secondary if you're missing a couple of those pieces? And I was curious, was that a change at the end with Eric Stokes, or was that performance-based, or did he get hurt at the end of the game?
Well, I think we want to rotate all those guys, and I do think that is a position, the corner and the safety position, where we have a decent amount of depth. What transpired in that game, I mean, Evan kind of felt something pregame. He tried to go out and play, and it set off a chain reaction in terms of how do you go about putting who you feel like is going to give you the best chance to win. You know, Bull didn't practice any at safety all week. Then he's got to go play safety, and I think that's tough on a young player. You know, you kick Keyshawn inside. Obviously, I think our corner depth's pretty good. So that led to CB and Stokes getting more opportunities. But as far as the rotation goes amongst those guys, we're going to rotate all those guys because we have confidence in them.
Is Quay still in the protocol, or is he cleared?
Is who? Quay is cleared.
Sorry, could I follow up? Like, with the way all those guys are playing pretty well, seems like at that spot, what do you think you'll do there with all those guys available?
Yeah, Quay will start.
I know you've done it before when, injuries are a concern. You've gone from last week probably the healthiest, this week maybe more injuries than you've had. Do you change practice this week at all, just to give guys more rest?
I mean, you're always adjusting and adapting to it. I would say it's very similar to how we went about practice a week ago. There might be a few less live reps, but for the most part, I think our coaches do a really good job of managing our players, the guys that need maybe a little bit more rest, and getting other guys in there. So, I wouldn't look too much into how much. I think all our guys need the practice, and those that can go will go and benefit from those reps. And so there might be some players that might be running with the ones or whoever that normally aren't, but I think that's good practice for those guys. So we kind of adjust accordingly.
Are you talking about, like, with the offensive line guys, did you consider cutting back at all on team because you're missing the whole left side of the line today? Or are you saying that's really good work for, you know?
I think it's really good work for the other guys, you know, that might not get those reps. So we try to still stick to as many live reps as you can do, but you got to factor in all the situations.
What's impressed you the most about what Cooper has done in the snaps he's gone? Just what's impressed you the most about the way he's performed so far?
Well, he's made some big-time plays. Obviously, I mean, you guys saw that he got NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, that's a heck of an honor, and that's not an easy thing to do for anybody, let alone a rookie that's, I don't know how many snaps he's got on the year, but he's made some big-time plays, and we expect him to continue to learn because it was far from flawless. I think he would be the first to admit that, but there was a lot of big plays he made that impacted the game.
Matt, when you watch a tape of explosive gains, what do you and your staff pull from that from around the league, and how often is Detroit short about it this year?
Detroit's on it. I mean, obviously, I want to say they're top three, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're one. I'm not quite sure where they're at, but they're one of the most explosive offenses in the league. I think Ben Johnson does an unbelievable job of putting his guys in position, and when you have really good coaches, they got one of the best offensive lines in all of football. I think Jared Goff is playing as good as anybody, and they got weapons all around them, whether it's Amon-Ra or Laporta. They got two great backs, Jameson Williams. I mean, they got a lot of guys, Khalif Raymond going in there, whoever. They just got a lot of playmakers on their offense, and good scheme plus players usually equals some pretty good results.
How important, though, is it for you as a staff to watch that tape from around the league in terms of players that are standing out, or does it inspire things that might?
I think it can stimulate thought and seeing how teams are attacking one another and what's working, and just gives you more ideas than anything else. I think the challenge is, you know, not every play is going to work like that, obviously, and somebody might run the exact same play in another game, and it could be disastrous. It's all dependent upon, number one, does it fit what you do, and then also who are you attacking, and does it fit that game plan?
That backfield tandem they have, Gibbs and Montgomery, what are the different things that those guys bring to the table in terms of the challenges?
Well, I think they're both really dynamic in what they do. Obviously, Gibbs is a guy that he's a home run hitter. You know, I showed a couple clips to the team today of, like, he took 170 last week. There was a clip versus Minnesota where they ran an outside zone, he gets loose. I think he's really good out of the backfield as a receiver, but I also think Montgomery does the same stuff, and he's just a really physical runner, probably one of the most physical backs in the league. You better have a tackling plan when you go approach this guy, because he's gonna try to run you over, and in many cases he does that, and he makes multiple people miss. But he also is really good out the backfield. He's got really good hands, so I think they're a really tough 1-2 punch.
Matt, what do you know, they obviously lost their stud in Hutchinson, but what do you see when you look at them defensively?
I see a team that really challenges you. They're going to play man coverage. They're going to get up in your grill, you know, be very aggressive in terms of how they coach man coverage. But Hutchinson, he's a guy it's hard to replace that guy. He is dynamic. He shows up all over the tape, obviously. The thing that stands out most, obviously, he's a very talented player, but he is relentless, and his play style is, I'd put him up against anybody in the league. Just how the effort and strain, and he plays the game the right way, and that's why he's who he is. But I think overall, I mean, obviously losing him is that's a big loss for anybody. But I think they got a lot of guys that they all kind of embody that play style. When you watch them, I think Aaron Glenn does a great job. They all play really hard. They've done a really nice job of think they got like 10 interceptions on the year, 5 fumble recoveries. They're all punching at the ball. They got a couple out last week versus Tennessee. So I think they've got enough players that, you know, they can weather the storm.
More, please.
Their safeties have like 9 interceptions.
Yeah, both those safeties, they got really good ball skills. They're smart. They do a great job of cut replacing, like they're cutting crossers. They're doing a really good job with that, playing with vision on the quarterback. I just think they got smart football players, and they allow them and they put them in good position, and then those guys are making plays.